role I like the most, and I think you can easily win the game from position 4. I think Jarek needs a bit more playmaking here that can rotate, and Jarek is the guy that breaks most of the smokes in game.
All right, well, speaking of in-game, we're about to hop into it right now. We have all of our players in the booth. Let's see who's going to be able to take it. Is it going to be a quick 2-0? Are we going to go the distance and make it all the way to a Game 3?
PSG.LGD turn to ban.
Game 1 was looking okay for OG before it slipped away at the end a bit there, gentlemen. Do you feel like they need to make some adjustments with the picks, the bans?
I think the picks were fine. It was just that like slight late game, like very odd decision making. So
okay.
I think also the Ember kind of letting it through against the heroes like the Zeus, Pango, the Void, these like heroes that Root's really good against, Flame Guard's good against. I think it was a little questionable.
Yeah, I mean, two teams expect to stick to their guns regardless of outcomes of an individual game, and very much likely what we're going to see going into game number 2, as some switch-ups will maybe have to happen, because often what's going to happen is a change-up in who has first pick, for example, and some of those bans can be mixed around because of that.
OG's turn to ban.
Yeah, so LGD is going to, I think, stick probably to the first phase. Their bans, their idea about the picks, what they wanted to pick there. But since OG is now going to kind of respond to them, right, they're going to maybe pick Jarek some more playmaking here instead of this Pango that's a little more greedy as a 4. I think the LGD second phase is going to be maybe a little more different, maybe a little more reactive to OG, and both teams are going to slightly change up their draft to kind of counter each other.
So I think right now, first pick has a huge advantage because of all these like inbound heroes right now. Enchantress, IO, ET, Tiny, but LG doesn't play IO, so they gotta get rid of it, even if they're first pick. And I'm surprised about the Enchantress because LGD plays a really good Enchantress.
Okay.
Chen.
So Chen, that's No-Tail, one of his, classic supports. And kind of been banned out, I think, a lot against OG.
Yeah, it really has been.
But they banned the Enchantress and the Wisp. There's like all these other more priority bans, so these like tier 1.5 bans that you're still really scared of are kind of slipped through in this series.
Yeah, and I think so you're saying, Febby, you find it interesting they ban the Enchantress themselves when they have first pick?
Yeah, because it's the hero of the tournament, I think. You first pick it no matter what. LGD plays amazing on it. OG plays it too, but they don't first pick it. So I was thinking like LGD might let it through.
OG, I know OG picks it first because they play it on No-Tail. They're one of the few teams that do a 5 Enchantress. And I think they probably value the Shadow Demon higher than the Enchantress in their draft.
So they're planning on picking the Shadow Demon and don't want to give away the Enchantress.
Yeah, so
instead, OG get Chen. Tiny, you were just talking about the Chen. Tiny we've seen explode over the last day or two.
We might see a Void ban coming out in this phase to try to stop this like Tiny Void from coming out in the mid game. But this Tiny hero I think is getting slightly more understood, whereas teams are kind of like actually thinking this guy's going to deal 10,000 physical damage in 5 seconds on a 12-second cooldown. We have to think about it.
Yeah.
So the panel briefly touched on how they want to see some Jarek on roaming support such as Earthspirit and Tuskar, and I think we're going to see that, especially with the Chen pickup. And the LGD support right now, we only see one, but it's really weak against roam. So.
Yeah, the Chen allowing you to use that recall essentially to bring in your 4th position Jareks for those ganks.
Yeah, probably Earthspirit or Tuskar, working with the mid Tiny or whatever Thompson is on, because Thompson is usually on a very aggressive hero that can use that roaming support, that +1.
The Shadow Demon's already fairly good against both of the heroes of OG, I think, at least the Tiny especially. And the Sand King, I think, it used to be a lot more stable in the past. Teams would pick this like offlane Sand King. It almost always was exclusively offlane, but he just kind of goes in his lane. He's gonna get what he needs. He's gonna get this blink, and he's gonna be your blink initiator, right? So now, off the bat, LGD has this blink initiation teamfight starter.
He's an annoying hero to gank too, because he can be pretty elusive with that Sandstorm Burrow Strike. So if OG are trying to go for this roaming support with Chen, Sand King can make their life a little bit difficult.
Yeah, they also banned the Spectre. They don't want OG to have this like super late game, I think. They're still scared of the way that OG plays around their late game, especially with like this Chen heal and the Tiny late game.
Maybe they're just still traumatized from last TI as well.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
Forget whether Spectre's a good hero now. It's like, are we still at TI8, guys? Ban the Spectre.
Ban the Lifestealer. That's one of the commoner carries of the patch, I think. It's like the gyros, the Lifestealers, these type of like, you can either really hard farm, like on the Wraith King Lifestealer, right? That's what we saw Infamous do. They would always go some heavy farmer and farm with it. And there's also the like quicker heroes, right? Like this Gyrocopter. The Lifestealer is really good against both of the heroes of OG. You can infest a Chen creep, once you're level 6, instantly kill it. And you also have Feast versus a Tiny.
Yeah, I think what OG is trying to do in the second ban phase is try to protect the Tiny, so there's an option of putting it mid. Might see like a OD ban or Ember ban. So they ban Void.
Yeah, Faceless Void does get banned.
I think like Void Tiny is that new wombo combo. Like Phoenix Void, it's a thing in the past. Now it's Tiny Void.
What are the carries that stand out with so many of them now being, well, 3 of them being banned out in this second stage? Where do both the two teams look for that role?
There's still a Gyrocopter for both teams, I think. Probably, I'd maybe lean more towards LGD picking it right now than OG. But a lot of the carries are kind of questionable, I think. Like, you can't pick the PL right now.
Yeah.
The Jug, I think, is weak for both teams. It doesn't do enough damage for Chen, and then the Purge is really good to kind of kite the Jug and walk away. So the carry pool, I think, is going to be the hardest for both teams to pick.
I think on OG side, AM and Slark is an option too. I haven't seen much Ana AM, but AM's pretty good.
His Slark is very good, so we could see some Slark kind of playing fast with the Diffusal, going his more standard build.
I think he wants to play some like ninja heroes, assassin type heroes.
Well, they banned AA, so is it just going to be an Alchemist game? Could be what that kind of says to me, at least.
Oh yeah, Alchemist is still open. I can't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking so much about it. You just expect it to either be picked or banned in the first stage, and OG get it in the second stage now.
Now, OG only picked it once in the group stage, and LGD I think is a team that's comfortable playing against the Alchemist. So like it's gonna be pretty cool to see how they counter it, especially like it being like the third hero pick.
I think their idea with this is they're going to kind of move the Shadow Demon to a 4. And this Jakiro is going to be a 5, and the Jakiro and the Shadow Demon have really good lane push in the early game, especially the Jakiro. So the Jakiro is going to try to rotate to this Alchemist's lane, whether he's in the safe lane or the mid lane, and force that lane in. And then the Shadow Demon is now going to be free to walk into the jungle and contest the Alchemist stacks. So I think they're going to try to play fast, try to control OG's jungle. But on the other side, OG's going to have this Chen. He's going to have creeps. There's going to be this early game Tiny if he's a 4. They're going to kind of defend him. So I think there's going to be a lot of these early game brawls on OG's side of the map. They're probably going to pick their off laner here, I think, unless they decide to put the Tiny on 3, but I don't think I've seen a sub Tiny this tournament. So they might try to pick him. I think his Furion was good last game. They healed in the lane. He had a 14-minute Orchid or something. He was top of the net worth for almost the whole game, I think. So that might be one of their choices.
PSG.LGD.
Darkseer. Okay. Haven't seen much of Darkseer, but OG gonna pull it out.
It matches up well with both of their current cores. The Tiny and the Alchemist, if they're both cores, work really well with Surge and Iron Shell. They both want to go in, commit on heroes, especially the Tiny. When you're Iron Shelled and you're surged in, you combo heroes, stay on them, you keep hitting them. They take so much damage. It also does open up more picks. It opens up this Ember Spirit that they can put on Popson or Ana on last pick, so I think we might see LGD kind of ban that out in the next phase, or take it if they're scared of it. It is a little scary playing Darkseer versus Shadow Demon though. Because you're going to get purged, you're not going to be able to Iron Shell, you're not going to be able to Surge.
I can see, oh, they pick Sven.
Is this the kind of carry just to match the Alchemist's farm, or?
Sven's one of the better carries against Arcanist. It can just like burst him down, even though the Arcanist is very tanky.
Alchemist doesn't have armor for the early game. That's why a lot of the Alcs who are going more this right-click build will go Radiance. If they need a BKB, they'll go BKB, then they'll go AC. And if they don't need a BKB, they'll go Radiance AC. And it's because that hero has 6 armor at level 15.
He demolishes Chen creeps too. There's a lot of like, when he stands in the front, OG's heroes, they're not going to want to go on the Sven. They want to go on the back lines, the SD Jack hero. So Sven's a very good hero to frontline, and it feels very reliable when a core is able to frontline like that.
It's also good against the Darkseer. You can push the lane back into the Darkseer and kind of counter his Iron Shell in the lane. Usually against Sven or against Darkseer, the carries are going to have this lane pushing into them. They're going to take damage into the tower. You know, they're going to be feel a little pressure under it, but with a Senders and Darkseer, you have cleave to kill the creeps quickly.
PSG.LGD looking for a last pick for their mid lane. Won't be seeing any kind of a Kunkka, as that's the last ban for OG.
It's a comfort hero for maybe, I think. It tanks them up. It stops this like initiation from OG, this tiny burst, this wall. They can kind of stop it with the boat. Also, he can't go Vessel on Kunkka. There's some of these Kunkkas that'll go this quick Vessel. They'll kind of rotate around, kill this Alchemist. You have the ability, if the Alch is mid, to just shove in the lane with Tidebringer and kind of run into his jungle and push it fast. I think we're going to see an Ember here, so that OG can't pick it.
It is PSG.LGD with first pick coming out of this stage, and it's going to be a Dragon Knight.
Oh, so they did this thing, I think yesterday or like 2 days ago, where they did DK Spectre. So the idea is like those 2 tanky front lines, OG has to choose basically which one to kill. And the other one, it just inputs a lot of damage.
And here is that Alchemist can definitely not burst down all that quickly, even with this new physical damage build we see coming out of him.
He takes towers very fast too, and OG Alchemist, if it's put mid, he's gonna go jungle. Tiny, once DK hits 6, he's gonna get chased out. So, the fast pace is the name of the game for LGD here.
And OG, last pick, a Spirit Breaker of all heroes, putting the Tiny into a core role.
The Spirit Breaker and Darkseer is a classic combo. You have Search Charge, you're going to go really fast. This early game is going to be really quick from OG besides the Alchemist.
It can control Sven very well too, the Spirit Breaker.
Charge through BKB, ult through BKB. You have a lot of these BKB piercing stuns and bashes.
The question is it enough to hold LGD's aggression in the early game? Because I think they have a really good tower push with Jakiro and Dragon Knight.
Well, we're going to find out some of those answers in-game, but before we do, we're going to hear from Soksha with Casey on stage.
All right, game 2 time. As we heard from Soksha, we know what they're going to be doing. Now it's just having to play it better. As you see, we do have some OG fans in the building, even if everything you're going to be hearing for most of the game is going to be LGD fans. And we certainly heard them even at the end of that game 1. This time we did hear some booze blitz.
Yeah, that was a moment.
They wanted OG to know, we like LGD right now. We like the fact they're 1-up in this series. You're not going to get a repeat of last year. But a lot to see. Do you agree with that? Are they going to be able to get a repeat of last year? I mean, we're looking at a Darkseer Spirit Breaker duo for them.
I hate Darkseer, let me say. As a hero, it won yesterday, by the way. In the one game it played, it won. But I remember when we casted the NA quals, this hero, it's hard to enable. You have to farm a lot with it, and the level 1 has become so much weaker than it used to be. I don't know, it just doesn't feel very good. But obviously, you know, Liquid dominant.
Yeah.
You have to have a good laning start with this hero, though. I will say, if you can enable this hero in the lane, I think the game will end very quickly.
They made it look really good with the Ember Spear. Do you think that it is going to look just the same with heroes like Tiny, Spirit Breaker, and even this Alchemist? I mean, he does have more options when it comes to the Ion Shell, but are they going to be as effective as him?
Not really. I will say, though, the one thing for OG is they have this death combo, which I thought was unbeatable. Chen Alk.
Yeah.
I thought that Chen Alk cannot lose a game at this TI. Every time I saw a team give up, it just ended.
Yeah. I think a lot of people had Chen as their most banned, right? Because that hero was being shown to be so dominant.
It's just silly.
Before TI.
The core concept of the hero now is to try to find as many of the magic resistance creeps as you possibly can.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that's what our creator intended. Ice Frog was like, is this really how you guys want to do this? And they're like, yes, this is the best way to play it. And look at all the magic damage on the side of PSG.LGD.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so good.
Sand King, Jakiro, Shadow Demon. Those 3 heroes lay out a lot of magic damage. So for PSG.LGD, their damage is going to have to come out from the Dragon Knight and their Sven. It's got going to have to come out in heaps and loads because they just won't be able to rely on that magic.
Batting rune fight is so important.
Right? They are going to be able to get Ame pushed back. They'll secure the bottom 2, even as X-Nova tries to stack up some Shadow Poisons onto Jarex. Doesn't get the 4th stack, though. That's where the real money starts coming in, that 4th and 5th stack.
Does do decent damage. I will say about Darkseer, his overall weakness comes from the fact that he doesn't pressure the safe laner anymore. Like, Ame should just free farm. Every safe laner says, when I see Darkseer on the other side, that's free farm.
Yeah. You're going to get almost all the last hits because the animation, the attack animation of a Darkseer is pretty bad. You should be able to get a lot of denies because Ion Shell, especially level 1, is pretty easy to read. And we'll see how OG is going to find a way to be able to break that opportunity for Ame. And their idea is with the Spirit Breaker, he's going to be pulling around. We're going to see No Tail here, maybe die here as Chalice just keeps on staying on top of him with the Caustic Finale.
He did not expect this level 1 Caustic.
Laying out some taunts, but the dual breath is going to slow him down, and he's going to die. Need the tap.
First kill of the game goes to PSG.LGD.
But at least it's not that first blood. We are going to need charge in from Jarex. He's collected a nice big wave. Now Seb's going to try and pop Ame and X-Nova. They're going to try and chase him away from this wave, maybe even kill him here. Sure enough. You can stack the waves all you want, but they're not going to let them Ion Shell clear.
This is what you want to do against the Darkseer, is tri-lane. Push him out so that he can't just skip the creep wave, make it really hard for him to push the lane into you and then pull the side wave.
Cute little play by Thompson. He actually tossed Somnus away from the creeps so he could get a deny in. Little stuff like that is what makes these 2 mid laners so unique. Maybe he's been one of the most dominant ones of the last few years for China, while Thompson, newcomer to the scene, managing to win his very first TI with some of his rather unique play bottom lane set. This Ion Shell will start getting some of the CS, but you can see Ame has already racked up 6 denies.
Yeah, Seb right now only has 5 last hits. It feels like he's gotten a lot because he's been on the creep wave for so long, but it's really when you hit level 3 and you get that level 2 Ion Shell that this hero starts to come back online. How do you feel about Darkseer's off-lane player? It's not a hero that you've been playing for a while, right?
Well, for me, it's like, I just look at Sand King, and I feel like in a lot of ways, Sand King's the same hero, just a little bit better. You know, in the fact that you have the same concepts with Sandstorm, of just kind of sitting in the lane. But it's a lot harder to stay out of Sandstorm than it is to be able to work around level 1 Ion Shell, especially.
And that's why they're going to try lane against Seb, make it hard for him to get farm and space. We talked about how if this Darkseer doesn't have a good lane, might just be a short one for OG.
Yeah, and how do you push back Chalice? You have to just drop so many sentries while simultaneously he can fight you underneath the Sand King as well, which is usually an advantage that Alchemist has over the offlane. He drops the acid spray and just man fights you if you choose to try and harass him out, because the armor difference is going to be too big.
Top Chalice gonna walk into this creep wave, contest this pull, get a lot of these last hits in fact, and he might even go for the next wave, cut it again. I think you're just gonna allow this Alch to farm, but there's not a lot of choice in the matter.
Yeah, they know that, especially with the Chen, the dual lane's just not going to do enough to shut down this Alchemist. So Chalice can work on trying to get that extra farm. Maybe he pulls it into the hard camp, maybe he just farms it up by itself.
I think he's waiting for the small camp to respawn.
Yeah. Toss up, trying to get that bounty rune, or power rune rather, but it is a double damage for Jarex. But Anna's going to do the same. He's going to pull the creeps into the hard camp, even pop the glyph to help him bring it down a little bit faster. Chalice with the Burrow Strike is going to try and take some of that CS, but Anna, especially with the skeleton spawn and everything else, thanks to Greevil's Greed, he got a lot of gold off of that. Our mid-lane matchup, how's that supposed to go, by the way? Tiny versus Deacon.
I'd imagine that both do okay, because Tiny has your tree grab, which I think is so strong in laning, it's almost impossible to deny it.
Yeah.
But melee versus melee, I believe maybe just wins because he can out-regen you, and Breathe Fire is so effective against attack-based CSers.
You could see, maybe really pushing that advantage he has off the regen, is he continues to tag Thompson even underneath the tower, just knowing he doesn't have to care too much. Bounty Rune's going to spawn. Seb does manage to get one of them at the bottom, so we're going to have a 2-2 split.
Not bad at all for Alex. But Chalice is going to get this big wave. He wants to try to connect it to this camp.
They're
And
both
Anna's
going to
gonna do
connect
the
it to the same camp, so Acid Spray versus Sand.
These are dying so fast.
Who's going to get the last hit on the neutrals? It looks like Anna actually walked away with a fair bit. X-Nova's going to show up for the first time here in a long time at top lane, trying to catch No Tail. The act of pulling.
Yeah, it looks like everybody's just having a good time. It's one of those weird stalemates where all the cores are sort of happy.
Yeah.
Maybe with the exception of Thompson in mid lane. But even his CS is not, you can work around that.
Dire's structures are
And they do spot the rotation down from bottom. This is something that Thompson does so well, and it's very unique to his playstyle, is how early and how often he's going to invade that jungle area. He doesn't want to just go into the bottom lane and pressure your tower. He wants to kill you while you farm.
And that's why PSG.LGD choose this DK, not just because he can beat the Tiny in lane, but because it's a hero that can pressure the mid tower whenever Thompson does try and go for those rotations. Bottom lane, they do manage to kill FY with the Ion Shell combo. Jarek's stun comes out and they will trade supports.
Seb is getting a lot out of this lane. As much of a free time as Ame has had, so is Seb. They don't really have a way to kill him easily. No real hard stun aside from Ame. There's no real follow-up to that. But he's out of mana right now, and this should be a death.
Yeah,
a little bit too greedy.
Even if it did have the mana from Surge, X-Nova made sure to be there. We could have disrupted. Especially those early levels of Surge. It is level 3, actually.
And there's already a Veil picked up by Sand King. Chalice's timing is going to be real quick.
And now he's going to be left alone in lane as Anna, with Chemical Rage and Acid Spray, is going to start trying to deal with the stacks that have been laid out to him.
These are real nice stacks. And the timing that we're looking for on this Alchemist is anything before 12 minutes, Anna will be happy about.
With this big of stacks, I imagine he's going to get there. As he's got pretty lucky on that medium stack as well with Wolves and Satyrs. You always love to see Satyrs when it comes to an Alchemist.
It's the perfect as well, like Satyr plus like the Mud Golems.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be like the ideal situation.
Radiant's bottom
They're going to try and kill No Tail at top lane. They really have to. Drop the Veil. They do have the Epicenter if they want to try and go for it, but instead, Chalice goes for the body blocks. It looks like it's
That is so much damage.
Yeah.
Veil, 4 levels of the Sandstorm. You're not escaping that.
And they need to be able to kill him because while the Alchemist is gone, they need to punish the
Yes.
fact that there's no core in this lane. Take this tower.
You got to pressure all the towers right now with
Yeah.
your PSG.LGD. You need to
Radiant's bottom
force the
tower
Alchemist
is
to leave the jungle,
Dire's
pressure his
top
lane,
tower
make it
is
hard
under
for him.
attack.
Because OG's already ahead of you, and that timing is Seb and Jarek's managed to take that bottom lane. Charge in on X-Nova. They are going to be able to get the double Ion Shell on top, and X-Nova's going to disrupt one of them, especially with the bash and Jarek's. It is impossible for the Shadow Demon to get away from that. He should know about the ward now, but honestly, it's lasted for most of its lifetime, so. OG will have gotten the full use out of it. They even have a sentry laid right next to the Observer ward that was placed out by X-Nova in the last 2 minutes. They just don't know it's there yet.
You see this Sven, by the way? It's gotten the Midas.
Yep.
He wants to keep up with the timing of the Alchemist, who is rapidly approaching his own timing.
That's why it's so important for Chalice to try and get these invasions, but he's been spotted in more ways than one. He does have that charge onto him that was there, but they actually managed to get the stun. Chalice trying to get away. One burrow strike isn't good enough. Body blocks from Seb, disruption out. Now with Somnus here, it's hard for OG to take this fight any longer, at least that chase. They're still going to try and defend their tier 1. That'll buy Anna more time at top lane.
Jarek's trying to pull the creep wave away, and he's going to charge out, but he's going to run into Ame, who's already pre-pepped his ulti.
He does manage to get him with the charge bash, and as a result, Ame, he's going to miss out on fertility. Ice back just looks a bit shot. 5-2. This is about the time the teams are planning their rotations to secure bounty runes. Let's see what OG does to try and secure at least 2 for this Alchemist. Now LGD off to try and defeat them. We're going to shrine up. PSG.LGD can go ahead and invade on this right side, but you can see No-Tail's brought Thompson up here. And they might just be able to get 3 as a result. They chain stun on it, challenge the toss up in the air. They pick up that battery rip, but out of the epicenter, it could be No-Tail in trouble, especially with that fail and so much damage. The support does die, but for OG, they call it space and gold for Ana.
Radiance now is flying out. We talked about the 12 before 12 minutes. 10 is incredibly respectable.
Yeah.
With 500 gold, this is still a very good timing for OG to hit.
PSG.LGD have not just been able to invade the jungle that often.
Because they want to take mid tower first.
And we've seen Somnus try and take this mid tower, but every single time OG had formed a strong defense for the Radiance up. Maybe Ana thinks he's strong, but then the Rage going out, but the Ice Path isn't going to be good enough to protect him. And now Somnus being run down. Stun! And Somnus pops out of the jungle and hits 3, but still, Somnus being chased down by this Ion.
Ana's way too strong right now.
Falling over everybody. The unstable concoction spotting FY for a moment. FY trying to hide. The unstable concoction does explode on the Alchemist, so FY will force them to chase a little bit farther, but eventually he will die. What a big win for OG. As you said, that timing was all important.
He's so strong. They can't fight into him. And he also, there's a trick where if you spam toggle off the Radiance while your Shadow Demon disrupted, he won't pop out with it.
Did Ana manage to do that?
Yeah, that actually limits the effectiveness of the ST against the Alchemist so much. I'm not sure if they fixed it. Last me and Gunnar tested, it didn't.
Yeah, you're saying basically you don't have to do it before you get disrupted. You're saying you can actually take it off right as you come out of the disruption.
See the replay right here. And it looked like a really good stun, but they had already used their follow-up disable just to try to stop OG from coming in. And they have to take this mid tower. If PSG.LGD are going to win this game, you got to take this mid tower. Otherwise, you will not be able to place the ward that you want to place. And that's why Ana's going to come in again.
They just keep on going for it, but finally the tower does fall. They don't actually lose it to a deny. But still, I mean, Somnus has been working on that for the last 7 minutes. I remember that first rotation coming out from Thompson, and he immediately popped his Dragon Form.
Yeah, he's been whittling that one down.
So what is that? You're like, we're saying they weren't invading the jungle, trying to shut down the Alchemist because they wanted that mid tower. Now that the tower is dead, what does that afford PSG.LGD?
I think if you're PSG.LGD, you can now force a lot of aggressive vision in this jungle area, and then you can start making smoke rates into the triangle.
Yeah.
I think that's the play that you want to go for.
Because Ana, in turn, knows that his jungle is probably going to be warded and invaded. So he's going to be playing in the enemy jungle, but won't be able to do the same kind of aggressive pushes because the Radiant mid tower is still alive.
Yeah, they're not out of the woods yet. OG is in a very good position. So I think this Alk is probably the strongest hero in the game. He's about to pick up his BKB, and then you're going to have an Ion Shell surged up Alchemist that comes equipped with the BKB.
This has been OG's signature style for a full year now, is their ability to be able to use certain mechanics and synergies between heroes to buff one hero up to just a monster degree. They did it oftentimes with the damage reduction of last year with the Spectre. Now it's going to be this Alchemist Radiance, plus the Ion Shell, plus the Surge, plus the fact you've got Chen Divine Favor on your side with the Chemical Rage.
You listed so many things.
There's a lot of sick synergies for the OG side. They need to be able to get kills in order to get towers, and they're going to start by killing FY in the mid lane. Chalice is going to TP in, trying to return fire. Tops the Veil, the charge coming in, and Chalice, he needs to be careful here. They do have X-Nova who's going to be able to disrupt up the same. He's going to use up of the BKB. They have the God Strength on Ana, but he just doesn't do enough. Ana, he's a monster right now, and he is pulling down every single member of PSG.LGD under the grave. And now he's going to chase down Ame. Gets him with the unstable concoction. Ame can't get out. He's dead. The only members of PSG.LGD that can survive, the ones that made their way behind the tier 2 tower nice and early, both X-Nova and maybe Somnus realized that OG's just too big already.
You saw the Sven run in. Ame pops his God Strength. Thought he was the strongest hero in the game. Ana said, no, that is not close to true. Hit this BKB and the Surge.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Blitz, but this looks like PSG.LGD misread the timings entirely. The first time that they fought Ana, where Ame came out of the jungle, hits a 3-man stun, they still couldn't win that fight. Now they tried again.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they thought an Echo Saber would be the game changer.
Yeah.
He's got a BKB.
Yeah.
And this is a really quick Roshan. And Chen Alk is proving to be so strong. The Divine Favor, amplifying all your regen by 12% on a hero like Alchemist.
It's absurd. Absolutely absurd. This is why this combo has not been given away in many games. 6-9, 8,000 net worth lead for OG.
I've personally seen it in the games that we've casted 3 times.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, all 3 times the Alk Chen combo won.
That's an aha stat for you right there.
I'm sure Alan could tell me better.
Chalice, he's trying to deal with that regeneration factor. He does have a Spirit Vessel, but Blitz, in order to use Spirit Vessel effectively, first you have to get kills. And PSG.LGD, they haven't found one in a while. They've been struggling to get charges for Chalice.
If he, even if he has it though, I don't know how much that makes a difference. If he opens it up in the fight, the BKB's popped by the Alk, he just runs in anyways, doesn't really seem to care very much.
Yeah, it would have to be in some sort of chain stunning opportunity.
Yeah, what they really need is this DK to deal damage. Maybe his build is so greedy, going for the Hand of Midas when your Zen already has one. He has no way to initiate fights, he can't get to the back line. He doesn't really deal enough damage, so they can just ignore him. You know, he hits for 103 like a wet noodle, like Grant would say. Breathe Fire is pretty good, but they have so much regen that it all gets negated by the Chen. Maybe he just needs to farm.
Add in another 50 damage for Ana's Alchemist, and now he's going to be even more effective at bringing down towers, but they have been split up a little bit. They're going to try and go for the bottom lane. They quickly execute X-Nova. And trying to catch Somnus as well, cutting through the trees, but Jerix will make sure he cannot escape the Ice Path. Buy Somnus a little bit more time. The TP coming in from Chalice as well. Can he get there in time? There's going to be the double Ion Shell burning away Somnus. The double Bracers just isn't enough protection.
Thompson wants more, doesn't have a toss-up for 2 more seconds. Chalice gonna give up on this top lane.
He knows he's got to be careful here because now Ana is going to come down from that high ground. And they've already used most of their TPs. They're going to be able to bring in somebody with no tail. They're going to heal up immediately. Ame's going to be able to cut his way.
The charge is coming across the map.
Actually fine. Thompson has a Blue Dagger up in a second. Can they actually chase down Ame, or is it going to be X-Nova, whose life is going to be forfeited instead? In fact, Jerix is probably going to die here as he's charged in a bit too deep. The Avalanche, unstable concoction. They don't go for the sport. They go for the chorus. They're still trying to finish up Ame here with the BKB activated by Ana. No tail going down underneath the sandstorm, but it's timing tier 3s to die. Ana doesn't care about tier 3s. He doesn't care about the tier 4s even. He's willing to die, but the TP coming in from maybe Somnus. He's going to try and get the kill onto Thompson. He is taking out bit by bit. He has the Spirit Vessel, but he is actually going to live. The Spirit Poison is going to beat up. It seems now Challenge. Run down by Ana. Ana is very low, but he still has that Aegis. So Somnus, he commits heavily to be able to finish him up, but now he's stuck. Now he's trapped. He's actually stuck. It's fucking men, and now he's going to get... Oh no! Somnus thought he could get out again, but Thompson will deliver the finishing blow with Alpha Set for the triple kill.
He walks in, his own illusion fights against him.
PSG.LGD. There is no other way to say it. They read this game wrong.
Yeah, they completely misread their strength. They misjudged. The fact that OG can dive into tier 3s at 18 minutes into the game. The knockback from Jerax, who continues to be unafraid, slowly charging forward. And they're just going to die for it.
He is going to wear out, but Ana is going to be able to get the counter kill onto the Shadow Demon. But now Ana is heavily extended himself, and he does have that BKB, but if he changes up so much back again, he may actually fall here to cover rate. But the BKB, where's the physical? He's going to get surged out. Now he's surging away. Now he's going to turn into re-engage. He's going to turn. What a madman. He turns around and kills Chalice. Ame, they were all stunned up underneath the Ice Path. Another round of the Stormhammer. Chemical Rage has worn out, but it's surged away once again.
Maybe is back, but still the lack of farm. You haven't felt this Dragon Knight's impact at all. He does have more CS by like 30 on this Tiny, but you're feeling Thompson's presence in the game. 5-0 and 8. Conversely, maybe with possibly the worst showing of the tournament that he's had, 0-3 and 0.
Yeah.
I have not noticed this DK in this game.
This is not the superstar that PSG.LGD has built this squad around this performance by him. And you know, it's not just on him, right? It's got to be his team as a whole misreading how they were going to be able to play out this game, how they were going to be able to shut down the Alchemist.
Both sides fighting for
They
control
want to be
here.
able to fight for the bounty runes. Thompson, ready to go. He's going to wait out the ice path. He can blink forward, toss back on Asamis, or he can look for more. And he's going to look for more. I'm sure he's going to grab Jarek.
Fights both of them.
And then double charge. Into the charge, into the vacuum with the wall. What a sick combo from OG is now. They look to be able to run down even more heroes. X-Nova. Unstable Concoction will actually stun himself, but X-Nova just playing a game ring around the rosy. But it has a deadly finish for X-Nova. It's now 9-20. OG marching high ground at 20 minutes again.
They have to deal with Chalice, who sits in the sandstorm, is going to back out the charge. Probably not going to complete it.
Okay, takes a few shots from the fountain, no big deal, dances it off.
And they're going to take Rax 20 minutes in. LGD cannot contest them at this point. Ame has finally realized what the situation is, and it is dire. He's going to try to get his BKB just so he can fight, but it's really the damage that they lack right now.
And where's that damage going to come in? They finally finish at the BKB, but I'm not sure if that's much of a game changer for PSG.LGD. Even if Somnus had his, that's not going to give you the damage you just blatantly need against this Alchemist, who now has an AC and is soon going to have a heart.
Oh, he's almost got a heart. I thought he just completed the AC. Yeah, it's 20 minutes in.
Radiant's top
22,000 net worth, 17,000 lead for OG. And you can make as many arguments you want about an Alchemist and how he's supposed to be ahead, but no way he's supposed to be this far ahead.
Yeah, 17K. Normally when we say that, we mean like 5, 6. That's okay. 17, you are behind.
Chain stun, they're going to be able to get 2 different stuns, but Somnus holds on to his as Thompson makes his entrance back. He's going to be another with the double damage of Thompson, and Hannah dealing so much damage as well. Tier 2 to fall, and a Tier 3 surely to follow as PSG.LGD, they just lack the strength to be able to deal with this any longer. Thompson's going to be able to get his entrance into X-Nova. Follow up on it, Chalice, as Jarek's managed to get the Nether Strike onto him. Chalice, Burrow strikes away.
And they're just going to call it.
GG.
Sven picked up his BKB, not even going to bother at this point. He understands how this game has been done in.
I mean, Anna couldn't have said it better, right? With his chat wheel as they take. Oh, look at that!
Disrespect.
I'm sorry, crowd. Where are you at?
Excuse me?
Where are you at?